Hello, my little friends. Welcome to Toon Stories for You. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe. Let's get started with our first story.
The Crane and the Fox. Once in a deep forest lived a fox and a crane who were good friends. They played in the river and even hunted together. One day, the fox invited the crane for dinner to his house. The crane was very happy that he was going to his friend's house for a dinner. He took a bath and brushed his feathers before leaving. The fox welcomed the crane and they sat for the dinner. But when the food was served, the crane got a shock. The crane was served his food in a flat plate. How am I supposed to eat? He thought. He couldn't even taste the food. He just sat there with his mouth open, looking at the fox, who licked and slurped off his dinner. After dinner, the fox asked the crane, "How was the food, my friend?" The crane just smiled and said, "Oh, it was great, my friend. Thank you so much." The next day, the crane invited the fox to his house for dinner. The fox thought, "My friend was a fool to leave his food when he came, but I will eat everything." So the fox traveled across the forest to the crane's house. The crane greeted him warmly and laid down the dinner. The fox's eyes opened wide in disbelief. The food was served in a narrow-necked jar. Now the crane put his long neck and beak in the jar and happily started eating. But the fox could only sit and watch. After the dinner, the crane also asked, "How was the food, my friend?" The fox suppressed his anger and disappointment and said, "Oh, it was indeed a fine dinner." He then turned out and ran away. The crane laughed after the fox left and said, "Serves you right, my friend." So the moral of the story is, understand the needs of your guest before you serve them, or else you may end up hurting them.
Now, the second story.
The Anthill. Once upon a time, the queen ant fell in love with a spot near a pond under a big oak tree. The ants decided to build an anthill on that spot, which would be almost 100 times the size of the working ants. Each and every worker ant got to work and started planning the construction of this huge and majestic anthill. Just then, a sparrow happening to fly by. The sparrow overheard the plan of building the anthill. He chuckled and said, "You tiny ants are going to build such a great anthill? Is that a joke? You won't be able to complete it in 100 years. The worker ants didn't pay any attention to the sparrow and continued working. After few weeks of hard work, a huge and beautiful anthill was finally ready. The worker ants had succeeded. So the moral of the story is, never give up without trying just by listening to others. The biggest of tasks begins with a small step.
Now, the third story.
Martin the engine goes off track. Once there was an engine named Martin. He traveled on the same track every day for years. One day, Martin grew tired of running along the same route. When the engine driver fell asleep, Martin ran off into the field. The 10 buggies behind him followed as well. The people in the buggies started screaming. Martin had a great time running all over the field. On the other hand, the engine driver and the screaming people tried to get him back on the track. Finally, Martin was tired. He looked back and was horrified to see the damage he has done. He had destroyed the whole field and many people were very angry with him. After that day, people refused to sit in the train that had Martin as the engine. They were scared that he would run off into the field again. Martin lost his job. He was then transferred to the train shed, where he sat gathering cobwebs and dust. Martin's good days were over. So, the moral of the story is, think of the consequences before you act.
Now, the fourth story.
Smiley the caterpillar. Once there lived a caterpillar in the forest. His name was Smiley, but Smiley hardly ever laughed. He was sad because he was not as beautiful as the butterflies. Why can't I be so beautiful? He grieved every single day. One day he grew tired of looking like a caterpillar and decided to end his life. He climbed on the highest branch of the tallest tree. Smiley looked down from the branch and realized that if he jumps from here, he would definitely die. Just when he was about to jump, a monkey lunged on the branch below and called out, "Hey caterpillar, what do you think you are doing?" "I am ending my life," said the caterpillar. "I am tired of looking so ugly. Maybe if you waited a little longer, a miracle may take place," says the wise monkey. "Would a miracle really happen to me?" Smiley asked. "Oh yes," the monkey said. "Haven't you heard that patience is a virtue?" Smiley decided to follow the monkey's advice. He decided to wait for a while, and to his surprise, he grew into a beautiful butterfly in the next 2 days. So the moral of the story is, never give up easily.
Now, the fifth story.
Leo learns to finish his food. There was a boy named Leo who never finished the food on his plate. He would often waste his food and throw it in the dustbin later. His parents were fed up of his bad habit. They put him into a boarding school so that he could be more disciplined. At the boarding school, whenever Leo sat down to eat, the bullies would snatch his plate and eat his food. They won't let him eat. Leo went without food for many days, and he was really hungry. He remembered how he was wasting food by throwing the food in the dustbin at his house. From that day onwards, he swore never to waste a single piece of food. So the moral of the story is, value what you have, because someday you may not have it.
So friends, did you like today's stories? If yes, then don't forget to subscribe, because I will be regularly bringing a lot many stories for you, and I don't think you want to miss the stories. So please click the red subscribe button below. See you all in the next video. Till then, bye bye.